What's going on, everyone? So, a lot of questions of, are the Lakers going to stand pat or are the Lakers going to make other moves? Now, I'm somebody that absolutely wants the Lakers to make other moves, but I also preach patience. I think patience is very important. Patience is important and works if it pays off. Lakers are patient, land Luka Doncic. Lakers are patient, land DeAndre Ayton, so on and so forth. Right? Now, I do think that there's still options out there that can help raise the ceiling for the Lakers. Joshua Okogie is a guy I'd love to see the Lakers get. DeAnthony Melton's a guy that I'd love to see the Lakers get. There's still options out there and many more that could end up being on the market. Again, we're still 2.5, 3 months away from training camp. As we inch closer, more and more teams, you got teams like Washington that still has to waive somebody. Right? They waived Rashad Holmes, but they're going to have to waive somebody else unless they pull off some type of trade or something to unload guys. But they're a team that's trying to take on guys, not unload guys. So are they really going to try to do something like that? Probably not. They're probably going to waive a guy. Chicago might waive a Nikola Vucevic, so on and so forth, right? There are several teams that still may end up looking and going like, hey, let's get off of this guy or get off of that guy right before training camp or before. Lakers are still evaluating kind of some of their guys. You got some summer league guys that look good, right? Like Darius Bazley. He could solve a lot for the Lakers as far as just that versatile wing defender. I'd like somebody a little more proven, but I don't think that the Lakers should rush to go do that or overpay for a guy. But if you don't, you got to solve some of those, right? Talked about with DeAndre. When you go and get DeAndre Ayton, now those conversations, now those negotiations for another center, if you wanted to go the backup route, now, one, half the teams are already phased out because it's like you have no use for Nick Claxton or anything like that. But now these other teams, Daniel Gafford, a Nick Richards, guys that you were looking at to, if you, worst case, be your starter, but ideally be a backup, well, now you can enter those negotiations from a place that isn't of desperation. Same thing with a Joshua Okogie, if you can land somebody like that, and if, a Duthero, if he ends up kind of becoming that NBA level defensive piece. Jared Vanderbilt's working on his 3-point shot. If that ends up becoming a thing, right, you start stacking all these things, it makes it easier and easier to be patient. But we'd all still like the Lakers to make a move. We'd all still like the Lakers to make a trade or sign some guys, kind of turn this roster over a little bit more. Well, according to Brett Siegel, he believes that that's going to happen. He is confident enough to say that he's confident enough that it's going to happen. So I want to read exactly what Brett Siegel said, which was a response to somebody over on Twitter. Somebody named Big Baby Jonathan said, how come the Lakers are not making any moves? And Brett Siegel responded with, the roster they have now won't be their opening night roster. I feel confident saying that. We talked about them pursuing a big before signing Ayton, but they've been hunting 3-and-D production on the wing. Andrew Wiggins is no longer a possibility. So Lakers got the reports that they're out on Andrew Wiggins. I think for now, again, I don't know this. I'm not an insider, just giving my opinion. But we've seen this song and dance before, right? We've seen it on several occasions with the Lakers that, teams want what they want early. You want Andrew Wiggins now, this is the price. But then you start getting to training camp, things start to shape up, or again, Miami could make moves. Miami could do something. What if something falls into Miami's and it's like, okay, well, now we should trade Andrew Wiggins. Let's just get something out of the deal. Again, there's a lot that can happen in the next 2.5, 3 months. Right? Miami's, I'm sure, not just going to sit on their hands the rest of the offseason. They've already made moves. Right? They're going to, if they can find an opportunity to get better, they're going to find an opportunity to get better, so on and so forth. There's a million things that could still open up. All these teams are still making conversation. They're still working on various trades and moves and signings. Guys are still potentially going to be bought out. There's so many different things that could still happen in this next 2.5 months, right? So if you're the Lakers, again, that's why I preach the patience. Be patient. Let things develop. Find those right moves. The Lakers don't have the luxury to just, hey, here's everything, let's do it now. Right? You need to, if you can start to piece things together. That's why I love that the new buyout market has become a thing, because it allows the Lakers, gives the Lakers another avenue to potentially land players. Right? So you have free agency, you have trades. Now you have the buyout market, and it's not just after the trade deadline. Now it's going to be in the offseason. I do think that this is going to be a norm. I do think that this is going to be a regular thing where you're going to have guys getting bought out, because every year there's going to be that next wave of players that teams want to get off of, or kind of aged out or just don't make sense for a team, or a team makes a trade and they want to get off of somebody, or a team ends up receiving somebody that they don't want to pay. Like, there's always going to be some reason to buy and waive somebody, right? So if you're the Lakers, this is just another kind of avenue to potentially land players, right? Lakers know what they need. They've talked about it on several occasions, right? Point of attack defense, 3-and-D wings, and centers. They solved their center position. Okay, next up, can you solve your point of attack and 3-and-D wing? I mean, that could be as simple as landing a Joshua Okogie, right? If Jared Vanderbilt really does improve his 3-point shooting, right, and he actually becomes a I'm not saying lights out. I'm not saying he shoots 42% or something like that. I'm saying, like, can he just be, 36%, which is like league average? All of a sudden, it's like, wait a minute. We just got a legit 3-and-D guy, one of the better in the league at that point, right? Same thing, Joshua Okogie for the Suns shot 38% from 3-point range. Can he get back to that if the Lakers are able to sign him? DeAnthony Melton, can he end up, again, you might end up landing a guy or two that kind of solves that need. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, now the 3-and-D thing. All of a sudden, whatever, we'll call Wizards, right? Waive Chris Middleton. It's like, okay, well, great, let's bring in Chris Middleton. Okay, well, now that gives you the leverage. Maybe even if you're not comfortable with him being your starter, well, one, you can bring him off the bench. Two, it gives you now that comfortability to enter these conversations. So now maybe an Andrew Wiggins comes up again, right? Maybe that conversation opens up, but now you're coming from a point where you're not desperate. Like, teams look at the Lakers, okay, what do the Lakers need? Oh, you need a center, you need 3-and-D wings, and you need point of attack defense. So guess what? You're going to have to pay. It is going to cost you, and it's going to cost you pretty hefty, right? All of a sudden, Lakers land DeAndre Ayton. And then it's like, well, why, why would I need Nick Claxton now? You blew your opportunity. Don't be greedy next time. Move on to the next guy. Hey, we'd still love this guy. We'd still love a Daniel Gafford. We'd still love a Nick Richards, but it's got to make sense at the price that makes sense, right? All of a sudden, now you're in those negotiations, not from a place of desperation. Teams don't view you as desperate anymore. You can do the same thing with the wing spot and that. So again, I'm fine if the Lakers were to enter the season, right, as is. I don't want them to stay as is. I want them to make moves, but you can be patient and let things develop and see, what if Jared Vanderbilt is actually good? I know it's a lot of what ifs, but again, even if you go make a trade for a guy, Lakers could trade for Andrew Wiggins right now, and it's still a what if, right? What if he doesn't work? What if until you actually see pen and paper and these guys on the court giving you production and how things work and fit, we might get 30 games into the season and be like, Lakers don't need anything. They're the 2 seed in the West, or top 3 team overall. They're on pace to win 57 games or something crazy like that. Like, who knows? Right? Lakers have the best offense in basketball. They're 15th in defense. Right? I don't know. Lakers were the best defense in basketball with Jackson Hayes, basically this same unit, and Jackson Hayes as your center. And DeAndre Ayton wants to buy in and be a better rim protector, better shot blocker. Right? What if he does? Like, what if, imagine what this team looked like if we had Ayton last year. It might have been completely different. I don't know. But if you start to piece those things and those things start to come to light, one, you can start to see what you really need. And two, you now can, again, for the things that are working, if you still want to make upgrades or you still want to make moves, well, then now you can go and do that. Like, again, we'll just use Andrew Wiggins as an example, right? Now it's like, okay, we don't need Andrew Wiggins anymore. We'd still love it because of his experience and stuff like that. We'd be more comfortable with it. But hey, we don't need it. There's a difference. Well, right now it's like, you need this. Well, now guess what? We don't need it anymore. We'd want it. We'd love it, but we don't need it. So those kind of things. Or again, maybe the point of attack gets solved. Because, right, let's say you get a Joshua Okogie, Jared Vanderbilt. Like, these guys are able to hold their own on the point of attack. But it's like, okay, now we really need that 3-and-D. We solved the point of attack. We're good there. We have the center position. We're good there. Let's go get let's go get that 3-and-D wing. Let's go all in and get that piece to put us over the top. Because now you can justify it. Right now, you don't know. Lakers don't have the assets. They don't have the luxury of just ponying up to pony up. They have probably one shot at this, right? Because they have one first and Dalton Connect. Maybe you can get lucky and make multiple moves, one with Dalton Connect and one with the first, but it's very possible that the only thing you have is that one. Right? And then again, what does Maxi Kleber look like? What does Ayton, Hayes, and Kleber look like as your big man unit? Right? Lakers are still going to run small ball at times and all that stuff, right? But like, what if Maxi Kleber solves a lot of the Lakers' needs as far as a rotation piece that can slot in next to Ayton, slot in next to, Jackson Hayes, right? Has chemistry with Luka and stuff. Maybe we get to the point where it's like, you know what? We don't really need a backup. We're fine. As long as Ayton's healthy come playoff time, we're Gucci, right? We don't need anything else, right? Like, again, we don't know how things are going to progress and develop. Want the Lakers to make moves. I'm glad Brett Siegel is confident enough to say that they are going to make a move, right? That he believes that this roster is not going to be the same roster, which he's right, because I think bare minimum, they waive Shake Milton and bring in somebody else to replace him, like a Josh Okogie, right? So Brett Siegel is not necessarily saying that there's going to be a huge trade and all this stuff is going to happen. He's just saying that, there's going to be changes. Like the roster, the way it looks right now is not going to be how it looks, come training camp. But again, that could be as simple as, they waive Shake Milton, which they're probably going to do in the next couple days, and then bring in, somebody. So anyway, as always, this is a discussion, pass question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos. Truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.